everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do our first tutorial on the mixer for FL Studio. Keep in mind this one's going to be very beginner centric, so you guys that have been around a while might not learn too much from this. If this video is successful, I will definitely do a much more in-depth tutorial on the mixer in the future. The video is a little bit long, so please let me know if it's too long. I can do shorter videos in the future. You guys just let me know what you want. Alright, without wasting too much time, let's get into it. Alright, let's get into it. As you can see, I've got FL Studio open. I do have some loops loaded in just so I can show you how to manipulate some things within the mixer. It's just easier if you have some audio to go with it. Alright, first up, in order to open the mixer, you're going to come right up here to the top where the toolbars are. And you see the one that I have highlighted right now, that's the mixer. Go ahead and click on it. And boom, your mixer shows up. You can use F9 as the hotkey as well. Alright, your mixer may look a little bit different than mine. That's because I use the extra large setting for the way the layout is. You can use this little drop down here, and you have different settings like compact, wide, and then various alternatives to the compact and wide, like wide 2. Same size of mixer tracks, but it just moves the buttons around to different places. I like using extra large just because I can see everything at once, and I'm kind of blind, so it helps me out a lot. So whatever works for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mixer from left to right. On the left, you have the dB meter. Next to that, you have the master track. Next to that, you have all your individual mixer tracks. This is where you will route your audio through. There are 125 of them all together. And to the right of that, you have your effects tracks. Every single one of these mixer tracks has 10 effects slots that you can utilize. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the individual mixer tracks a little bit closer. This is kind of where all the magic happens. In order to actually use the mixer, you have to get the audio from the playlist into the mixer itself. You can do that two different ways. So you can actually come over here to the picker on the left side. You've got your patterns, your audio, and your automations. If you go on your audio, you can highlight it. So I have them labeled here, melody, drums, and vocals. I want to route the melody to the mixer. So I highlight the melody just by clicking it. And then I'll highlight the actual mixer track that I want. And then I'll right click on that mixer track. And I'll come down to channel routing. And then come over to route selected channels to this track. If I go ahead and click that, you'll see that it appears now in the mixer. All right, there's another way you can do that, and that's by opening the channel rack. If you come up here to the very top, right to the left of the mixer is the channel rack. So open that up, and you'll see that we also have our audio samples in here as well. These little boxes are what you use to highlight the individual pieces of audio within the channel rack. And this one's highlighted already because we have it highlighted over here in our picker. So in order to unhighlight it, we just right click it, and now we want to put, let's say, the drums. Okay, so we just highlight the next to the drums right here, and we want to put that into our mixer. So again, we come down to our mixer, we want to put it at number 4, right click number 4, channel routing, route selected channels to this track. All right, so that's two different ways that you can route stuff to your mixer. Another quick little trick that I want to show you guys is how to route multiple pieces of audio at one time. So let's just say we want to come up here to our picker and we want to route our melody, our drums, and our vocals all at one time. So all I did was click on one and then hold down shift and then click on drums, click on vocals, and then I'll come down here to where I want to start my routing from. So you know, if I am routing 3 at a time, I want to make sure I have enough space. So if you have a lot of stuff going on here and you want to route, for instance, these 3, make sure you have at least 3 empty slots. So we have nothing else in here, so we can pick anywhere we want. So we have our 3 highlighted. We'll come down to the mixer, highlight mixer track number 3, right click. And this time when we come down to channel routing, we'll have route selected channels starting from this track. So starting from track 3, it's going to route all of our highlighted channels. All right, now that we have all 3 of our audio samples into the mixer, let me show you how to move things around real quick. It's pretty easy, pretty intuitive. So let's say we want to move our melody on track 3. Let's say we want to move it all the way over to track 6. Well, instead of having to reroute it and delete it, we can just highlight number 3 and we can hold down Alt and we just use the left and right mouse button. Or sorry, I'm dumb. The left and right arrow keys. There we go. If we want to move multiple mixer tracks at one time, we can do that also. So all you have to do at this point is hold down Control and Shift, highlight all 3 by clicking, and then hold down Alt again to move them all back and forth. If you just want to scroll through all of your mixer tracks, you can also use the scroll wheel on your mouse. Up and down will move it left and right. And also something you can do is just hold down Alt and use the up and down arrow keys, and that'll move you 4 at a time in either direction. Another thing that can help us with organization is recoloring and renaming our mixer tracks. Super easy to do. So you just go to whichever one you want and right click it, and you'll see rename, color, and icon at the very top. And that'll bring up this little window. So you can name this whatever you want. Let's see, this was drums before, so we'll name it Bangaroos. And if you come here, you can change the symbol. Now I don't usually use this, but it is an option for you if you want it. You've got things like keys to label your keyboards, label your guitar, label your bells. You can label all kinds of good stuff in here. We'll go with this face because that looks cool. But generally I don't even mess with this symbol. All I ever really use is this to rename things, and my color wheel. So if you click on the color here, you can go ahead and select whatever color you would like by using the color wheel. You can also use these right up here at the top. You got the color wheel here, you got this color picker here, and then right next to this you got this color picker. I don't do anything crazy with this. I just pick a color usually, whatever I'm feeling like that day for that project, and you can pick it, and when you're done you can accept. A couple more things, you can use this to randomize the color. If you want to get super fancy, you can use this to put in the actual RGB value. And then these colors is the quick picker, I guess you could call it. It's colors that you've already used in this project. So we'll change the drums, or the Bangaroos as we call them now, to this chocolate color and hit accept. And we just hit enter, and there we go. Another thing you can do for organization is to dock different mixer tracks to the left and right of the actual mixer itself. So let's say we have the melody here and we want to dock it. I'll show you what that is. You right click, and then you have this dock to down here at the bottom. Say we want to dock this mixer track to the left. And there you go. It's stuck to the left now. So no matter if you scroll through, it stays right there where you can always see it. And you can do that to the right also. So a lot of people use these docking techniques to put their delays and reverbs and things like that off to the side where they can always be seen. If you want to undock it, you just right click and you dock to the middle, and it'll pop right back in to where it was. You can also use a separator, right click, separator, and it'll draw this thick line in here to the left of the track that you selected. So now we have 3 separate sections. So you could use this section for your melody section, this section for your drum section, and then maybe this out here for your vocals. Or of course, however you want to do it. All right, now let's take a quick look at the actual mixer track itself so that we can get into that. So here you have this little light at the top of every mixer track. This means that the mixer track is active, so anything that you play will be able to be heard through that mixer track. So let's play this really quick. All right, so we're playing the loop that I have going right up here right now. If I wanted to hear just this loop, I could turn off the drums by left clicking the light. I could also turn off this little vocal by turning off the light. So now I'm playing just the melody. So let's turn the melody off. So let's say that I want to hear just the drums. So if I want to hear just the drums, I can right click the drums and it'll automatically turn everything else off. So that's super helpful as well. If I want to turn everything else back on, I'll just go ahead and right click those drums again. Okay, so I've turned the drums and the vocals back off again. I'm going to show you the rest of the mixer track here for the melody. So here you have the panning knob. So you can pan the sound of this mixer track to the left or to the right. So let's play that and see if we can hear it. To the left, to the right. And a quick way to reset this is to right click it and hit this little reset button. It'll reset it back to default automatically. If we come down, we have the volume knob. This is your primary way of mixing your track together. This is how you control the volume of this specific mixer track. Right next to it, you have a dB meter. We'll get into the dB meters here in just a little bit. Below the dB meter and the actual volume control knob, we have the stereo separation knob. If you turn this to the left, that will separate the stereo into the left and right channels. So there's nothing coming down the middle, it's all left and right stereo. If we pan it back to the right, all the way to the right basically makes it mono, so everything's coming right up the middle. So we're going to go ahead and reset that back to default, just like I showed you. Now let's say that we want to add an effect to our melody. Let's just do a quick little EQ. So we want to make sure that our mixer track that we want to put our effect on is highlighted first. Okay, so we have our melody selected. We're going to go ahead and use our slot 1. We're going to do a quick EQ with the default parametric EQ2. Make it a little bigger here. And by the way, you can make pretty much everything that's FL Studio default bigger just by dragging the corners and the sides. All right, so let's play our melody. Just gonna EQ out a little low end. Actually, let's EQ out a whole bunch. Kind of give it that very filtered sound. I'm going to turn it back up too so that we can hear it. So this is it normal. And this is it super filtered. So let's go ahead and leave it just like this so that I can show you what happens when we come next to the effect that we just slotted in, our EQ, and we turn this knob down. The knob next to the specific effect is the mix knob for that effect. So you can do whatever you want inside that effect slot, but you can also control how mixed into the actual mixer track you want it to be by using this knob right here. We can also just turn that specific effect on or off with this green button right here. I'm going to go ahead and just add another random effect or two in here real quick. Just completely random stuff. Just so I can show you that you can move stuff down in the order really easily. So if you come down here and let's say you want to move your EQ down, all right? All you have to do is use your scroll wheel on your mouse and it will move it up and down. Super easy. You can alternatively do this just by using the drop down and move up and down, but that takes a long time. You can just hover your mouse over it and scroll it. Do keep in mind that the order that you have effects on your effects chain does affect the sound. That's something a little bit more to learn about down the road, but keep that in mind. One more thing I want to show you is right here on the mixer track. Whenever you have effects in here, this light here at the bottom will light up. All this does is turn the effects off and turn the effects on. Off, on. All of them at once. All right, last thing that I want to talk about with you guys is the master track and the decibel meter over here. So the master track is pretty much the end all be all. This is the final sound of your song. This is the track that it comes out of. Everything else in here, all of your mixer tracks end up routing to here. All right, and we have the dB meter right here. So I'm going to go ahead and play the audio again. So since I have the master highlighted, the dB meter here, the current dB meter, is showing me the volume of everything that's coming through the master. Now remember I told you the master is everything that you have turned on here, all of your mixer tracks. So this is basically showing you the current dB of your entire song. Now if you come over here and you highlight one of your specific individual mixer tracks, let's take a look at our Bangaroos. You'll see the dB level here, but of course you can't really tell what the number is. So you come over here and you'll see for that individual mixer track, we're at about negative 10 or 11. All right, guys, I hope that was useful for you. If you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing below. There'll be a lot more of these types of videos to come in the future. Comment down below, let me know what you want to see, and I will make it happen. Thanks.